Do you think Trump enacting tariffs, pulling back tariffs, enacting tariffs, pulling back tariffs, do you think on a world order scale, this is going to lead to like a distrust of America and a want to find other countries to work with?
Charlie Kirk shuts down doubts about Trump's tariffs. When a college student challenges the strategy, Charlie Kirk fires back with facts showing how tariffs brought countries to the table. Charlie Kirk breaks it all down: trade leverage, job growth, and why unpredictability worked. Bottom line, Charlie Kirk proves this wasn't chaos. It was smart power. Let's hear what Charlie Kirk has to say here.
No.
Why?
Well, first of all, the opposite is happening. The Japanese, the Koreans, the Vietnamese are all coming to this country right now to sit down with Trump to negotiate better deals. It's rather brilliant what Trump did, is he said, I'm going to do all these outrageously high tariffs. Everyone freaks out. Market goes down. Forces them to the table in a way that otherwise would not happen. There's a 90-day delay of every country except China, which China should not be exempted because they're the number one focus of all of our attention. And then you bring the Japanese, the South Koreans, the Vietnamese, the Madagascarians, all of them to the table, and you broker a better deal. What does a better deal look like? We're not going to get to trade parity, but there are three things in particular that we need. These countries need to buy more of our liquid natural gas, so more of our energy, which we are abundant of, which will create a ton of jobs. They need to buy more of our beef and our agricultural products, and that we also need to be able to be their primary source for technology transfers, not the Chinese. Those are the three things that Trump will try to negotiate, and using tariffs as leverage. Tariffs are very risky. I will totally acknowledge that. Tariffs traditionally were thought of for two things. They can protect your industry, and they can be for a national security reason. Those are the two things. Trump is now using a third one. He's created it. Leverage, to bring people to the table.
No, that's perfectly fair. I guess this is more of a question of continuity. You have espoused mass support for tariffs as long-term economic policy. How do you reconcile that with your now using it in more of a leverage sense?
Great question. Just so we're clear, there's still a 10% tariff that's in place. So I think a baseline tariff is perfectly fine. When we are starting to get to 30, 40, 50% of arbitrary, very high numbers, I think that de-incentivizes reciprocal trade. But I think a 10% baseline is very fair to be a forcing function as well. So for example, if you're Toyota, how does Toyota avoid a tariff?
Make it in America.
Make it in America.
Yeah.
So what we want to try to do is at least give a little bit of a nudge so that these foreign companies are incentivized to make their products in this country.
I guess a follow-up to that. When Trump, I guess one of my main criticisms of the tariffs, I do agree a blanket low tariff, I'm not necessarily against. One of my issues is I feel like there's a lack of transparency in the goal of these tariffs, where you see our economy seemingly crash and then somewhat come back.
Well, the market, not the economy.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you're right.
Market.
Just to be clear, the economy would not have gone well in 9 months if the bond market collapsed. I will give you that.
Yeah, and we have an issue like China and all the bonds and stuff. But, sorry, I forget what I was talking about.
Continuity is what...
Oh, yeah.
You're probably going to argue that there's not a transparent agenda, so it's very volatile, so people don't know what to expect.
Yeah, if Trump's goal wasn't for these long-term economic tariffs to last, why was so much political power put into trying to justify them?
Well, number one, he's going to get a much better deal because of it. There is something in clinical political science, classical political science, called madman theory.
Nixon.
Yeah. And Trump is the madman theory, which is...
I agree to
and it's a real thing.
It's the best example.
We can make fun of him for it, but in political science, it's studied as a proven methodology where you don't know which way he's going to go, up or down, and by doing that, you can actually get a much better deal.
That's perfectly fair. I think I just disagree with the positing of tariffs as long-term economic.
I also want to make sure that it's clear I have some humility when it comes to tariffs.
Yeah.
We don't know how this is going to work out, but the American people voted for it. I think a 10% baseline tariff is prudent and fair, and we want to try to get more of our goods to be able to be sold in these countries.
By the end, Charlie Kirk leaves no doubt. Charlie Kirk takes a tough question and flips it into a masterclass on strategy. Charlie Kirk explains tariffs, exposes fake outrage, and defends Trump's plan with logic and clarity. Love him or hate him, Charlie Kirk doesn't just argue. Charlie Kirk wins.